Well, now there are rumblings of yet another major PlayStation 5 exclusive leak, and this one is something that, hey, when I talk about the first game, you guys always come at me talking about why do I keep talking about this game, nobody likes this game. Maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, but The Order 1886 is a game that I've wanted to see a sequel for a very, very long time. Done by Ready at Dawn. It was one of the earlier PlayStation 4 exclusives and it released back in February of 2015. It was pretty hotly anticipated leading up to its release. However, unfortunately, when the game came out, there were some issues with the game, and ultimately it didn't end up doing all too well. But over the years, as it's gotten cheaper and it's readily available for like $5 to $10, when it's available for a low enough price, I often give it a recommendation because there are a lot of high quality elements to The Order 1886. And I'll talk about that in a second. However, let's talk about the possibilities of an Order 1886 sequel. Developer Ready at Dawn has confirmed it's working on a new AAA console game. However, it hasn't said anything specific about an Order sequel. A new leak from a NeoGAF poster who previously nailed most of the details for the PlayStation 4 Pro several months before it was officially announced. Osiris Black, who is notably one of the more noteworthy leakers on NeoGAF, omitted some details to make the alleged PlayStation 5 title a little bit harder to identify, but this is what he noted about the trailer for the game, and a lot of people are thinking it might be an Order sequel. That's not what he's saying specifically. However, that's just generally what people are coming to a conclusion on. It might be something differently, but let's read it. Okay, so this was posted yesterday at 8:59 a.m. over on the NeoGAF threads, and it notes, quote, "Man walks into a dimly lit room, light bleeds across the room for a shoulder-mounted communication device. It is the most light in the scene. There is a light mist and sparks spew from a torn electrical wire, tossing light and particles around as the man cautiously makes his way across the room. His boots leave prints as he walks across the polished floors. The dim light shows his reflection in the floor. The wire behind the cracks and slows as it comes to a stop, along with all of the other lights in the room shutting off at the same time. The man covers the device on his shoulders, but the light bleeds through his hands. The man pulls a firearm and continues making his way through the large sterile room. A noise behind him and he turns around, removing his hand from the device at his shoulder, revealing himself to everyone. The light illuminates the room and a table he had walked past has been knocked over. The tablecloth is still slowly settling on the floor along with all the other things from the table that have been strewn about. Off in the distance, a pair of yellow eyes open and fix on the man. You will know who he is, but I cannot say. He raises his firearm and fires off several shots, the flash from the gun illuminating the darkness as the creature reels, then attacks. Another set of eyes opens as it runs across from the room at him. You can see the impact of the weapon punching holes in this thing as it makes a way across the room. The man backpedals and falls down. Monster is right on top of him at this point. That sounds something very, very reminiscent to The Order, but nonetheless. Over something as he is trying to get away, he fires off a few more shots while on his back and scampers to his feet. The monster is still chasing. He makes his way into the next room and slams the door behind him. You hear a series of clicks and other weird noises coming through the door. The man leans up against it and you hear a deep inhale come from the other side of the door like the creature is sniffing around for a scent. This sounds so reminiscent of The Order, I just cannot keep saying that. However, let's continue. The man is breathing heavily and removes one hand from the door and clutches his side. Blood is running down his side and his pant leg and pooling under the door. Last shot is the creature kneeling on the other side of the door, putting one hand to the blood. Creature has 4 arms, then smelling it. I have found you. He almost sings the word, then the title screen shows, and that's it. Let's see if anyone else can get this detailed. It is the best looking anything that I have ever seen, and the character models, lighting, and physics are on another level. The main character is impossible to confuse with anyone else, and this game has not been revealed, but I have hinted at it several times. Again, this is coming from Osiris Black. This is not a cutscene or a render target. It is actual gameplay, and it is very impressive. Well, the end is a cutscene, but man, you literally cannot tell the difference. And he edited to add, I was just given the go-ahead to post this, and it is from an early vertical slice that I did get to see. And before anyone asks, no, I cannot describe what the man is wearing because it would be a dead giveaway. The Order 1886 also has very distinctive clothing, so that would be the kind of giveaway that we're talking about. Somebody also asked, is this PlayStation 5 or Xbox, and he just responded yes. I do believe Sony owns the rights for the order, so that would be a giveaway that it would be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Ultimately, we don't know because now Sony is putting games like Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, so it could ultimately end up on other platforms, but you would think initially it would be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now, a lot to dissect out of this. Whether you think it is Order 1886, a follow-up to that game or not, that's up to you. Let me go with the notion that it is a follow-up to the Order 1886, and let me say that I would be incredibly excited for that. The Order 1886 is a game that I think is criminally underrated, and yes, I understand why people had its issues with the title back in 2015, but the main issue lies in the fact that it was a $59.99 release, and it was a really short game, 4 to 5 hours long, and you could complete it rather quickly, and there was not a lot of replayability to the game either. So if you're dropping a full $60 on the game, yeah, I could understand why you would be a little bit disappointed. However, almost 5 years later, now you can get the game very cheap, and I think there's a lot of reason to go back and play the game. And just about everyone I've talked to that heard that Order 1886 was not a very good or whatever the case may be, and they went back and they got the game for $5 or $10 and then they played through it, they realized, holy crap, this game actually has a lot of great elements to it. It's just a very short game, and people will go back to that fact over and over again. There are some other issues, like the gameplay isn't anything to completely write home about, but it's a well done third-person shooter, by no means a poorly made third-person shooter, and its lore, its history, its setting, all of those elements are really great. So if you don't know, the Order 1886, as the title would suggest, is set in an alternate history 1886, specifically in London, where an old order of knights keep the world safe from half-breed monsters, which are a combination of animal and human. They look grotesque, they look insane, and in the game's history, around the 7th or 8th century, a small number of humans took on bestial traits. The majority of humans feared these half-breeds, and war broke out. Despite humans outnumbering the half-breeds, their animalistic strength gave them the upper hand in centuries of conflict. I think the setup for that story and the backstory is really well done. It's relatively unique. Humanity finds new hope in King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, so obviously harkening back to some history there. King Arthur and his like-minded knights take the fight to the half-breeds, but Arthur soon realizes it's a losing battle. Through a mysterious turn of fates, the knights discover black water, a mystical liquid that significantly extends their lifetimes and gives them remarkable healing abilities. Despite this new advantage, the half-breeds continue to win battle after battle until the Industrial Revolution turns the tide. Engineers are far ahead of their time, inventing technologies such as thermal imaging, railguns, zeppelins, and wireless communications. New weapons belch electricity, ignite clouds, or thermite on top of enemies, and fulfill dual functions as fragmentation grenades and proximity mines. Additionally, the events involving Jack the Ripper have taken place 2 years earlier. The story is so compelling, and I don't want to give away any more spoilers just because I want you guys to actually go back and play the game. If you are somebody that got a PlayStation 4 more recently and you have yet to check out the Order 1886, guys, it's a game that I really recommend you to go back and look, especially in this era where there are so many games that are being released that are incredibly time-consuming and that are going to take you so much time to complete. The Order 1886 is a game that you can buy really cheap, $5 to $10, and one evening you can just sit down and play through the entire thing. You've got so many interesting creatures in the game, you've got some compelling characters in there as well, and again, based on the description from Osiris Black, I'm really led to believe that this is the Order 1887. That's just my speculation. It's something that I think I would really like, and even if that isn't ultimately what it turns out to be, it would be a great title to see. Some people are also thinking that it could be harkening to a new Batman game, but based on me reading the description and a lot of other people putting things together, it does sound like a new Order title, and I do think there's potential in an Order sequel. I do think they would have to market it the right way. I do think that they would need to make it an engaging game where newcomers could come in and play the game as well. Obviously, if it's gonna be a fully priced $59.99 release, you would have to add a sizable amount of content to it, because let's be real, the Order 1886 was not worth a full $60. I'm not gonna mince words and make you guys think it is, and suddenly I'm going back and going against that notion. It absolutely was not worth $60. You cannot get away with a 4 or 5 hour experience and charge $59.99 for it. But if the Order 1887 comes out, it's a cheaper experience. Maybe it's released at $40, or it just has more content. That would be a great way for the game to rewrite its narrative, at least from a standpoint of how it was received, and I do think there's a lot of potential in the Order 1887, and I do sense that there is that notion and that understanding that there is a lot of people, and there are a lot of people that went back and they played the game and they realized, hey, for a cheaper price, the Order 1886 is actually a very, very compelling experience. We'll see how ultimately it turns out. Osiris Black, again, a very reputable leaker. He just goes about it a little bit more interesting of a way and makes it fun for everyone, so that is pretty cool to see. That's going to conclude this video. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you guys be in favor of an Order 1886 follow-up? Do you get the sense that this could be some sort of other game? Could it be a Batman game? Based on what I'm reading, it really does resemble something like the Order 1886, and Order 1887 I imagine would be what a follow-up title is called. But sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.